We now have clarity on this PlayStation DRM fiasco, which was going on last week, and the internet was losing its mind. PlayStation players were not happy. Sony has finally decided to speak up about it. They did leave this cooking for a few days. They could have squashed this right away, but no, just let people run wild with it for a few days. Push Square are reporting here after almost 5 days of silence. Yep, so 5 days this was going on for. The inferno of PlayStation players' rage was burning for 5 days strong. Sony has finally issued a statement on the PS5 and PS4 game expiry issue. Now, if you don't know what this is, go and watch last week's podcast, but the TLDR of it is that it looked like every 30 days your digital games had to check in with an online server so you could retain access to play them offline. So for example, if you bought a digital game and then you're playing it and then 30 days expire and say you were not online, you could not play the game because at 30 days it needed to check back in. That isn't exactly the case, but this is what we thought was going on, but now we know what it is. So Sony finally issued a statement on this PS4 and PS5 game expiry issue. GameSpot was the publication lucky enough to get a response from the platform holder, and it reads, players can continue to access and play their purchased games as usual. A one-time online check is required to confirm the game's license, after which no further check-ins are required. So it's not every 30 days, but there is a check-in at one point. It's still not entirely clear whether that check needs to come 14 days after the purchase or can be done immediately. By taking the spokesperson's word at face value, all you need to do is connect to the internet once, and from that point onwards, your game will work like normal, regardless of whether you're online or offline. Seeing as this primarily affects digital games, which need to be downloaded from the internet, of course, then this sounds like a non-issue. This image on Retro Handhelds GG explains it nicely. When we originally bought the game before this March update, you got a permanent license right away when you bought a digital game. Now, after March, there's an online check-in window after the refund period ends and before this 30-day window, this 30-day timer we saw on these games ends. And the idea here is that this exceeds the 2-week refund window. So it's therefore speculated that some people had been downloading games and then immediately taking their consoles offline and then requesting a refund and then retaining ownership of the game. Whereas this new licensing system is designed to combat that. So I guess that explains a lot as why a lot of people have been seeing this 30-day expiry timer, which we spoke about on the previous video, disappearing. But I wonder how many people were actually taking advantage of this for Sony to change this so that it impacts everybody. So your games will retain a permanent license after the 30-day check-in, and your digital purchases should be fine online and offline. This article goes on with a nice roundup here where it says, are we happy with this? I want you all to let me know in the comments if you're happy with this too. They say, ideally, we want to own our digital purchases in the same way we have physical media. Exactly, people. Physical media for the win. Always buy your games physically, I say. History and policy show that this just isn't the case. In a world where DRM is getting tighter and digital distribution is dependent on having active servers, the expectation that you own your digital purchases is nearly moot unless you actively have the game files on your open system and DRM is removed, like with good old games and itch.io purchases. Steam, Nintendo, Sony, Xbox, Epic, etc. have adopted the limited license policy to allow people to legally purchase something and the company publisher to still maintain control over it. Limited licenses are common in the arts media world and are used to protect the creator/copyright holders' assets. It is a messy situation with video games since you can't exactly have someone play your game without giving out your assets, so DRM is used to control how their games are played and collectively annoy us. It does indeed. So just keep on buying your physical games, people.